Morning. I'm going to talk today about different people's views of the hereafter in view of the fact that, well, I've been what you'd call sort of a medium for many years. When I was very young, probably in high school, I started the practice of, I didn't have people that I could talk to about really complex issues, you know, that I had to deal with as a child. You know, alcoholism in the family, very serious molesting. I was very serious problems, and it was hard to find people that could talk about these things with me. So I started doing dialogues that I wrote down with the spirits, and because I'd seen my uncle, who was diagnosed as schizophrenic or possibly bipolar as a relatively young age, and he had had a very difficult childhood. He had had major childhood diseases, and he talked to spirits, meningitis and pneumonia.
Well, everybody got
pneumonia. Was a very, both of them were very serious because there was no antibiotics.
I've had meningitis many times.
Oh, hey. But anyway, I did this, and it developed into, because I noted that he talked to the spirits, and there seemed to be a proof, quite a lot of proof, that he really was talking to a certain degree with the spirits. He had started drinking alcohol and had got addicted to alcohol in his 20s, and that
this comes back to
led to some violence on his part, and it sort of corrupted, I thought, in my own opinion, it corrupted his gifts, his real spiritual gifts, an ability to connect to the other side probably due to these severe illnesses he had. So he eventually, because of the violence, ended up in a mental institution in the state mental hospital for the rest of his life.
What state?
Utah. He spent 10 years in that hospital before he died. Yeah.
Who paid for all that?
My grandfather. And so anyway, I'd seen that, and when I was absolutely desperate, I started doing dialogues, and which finally developed into dialogues with different people that I thought were of the spirit world, that I thought were more capable of dealing with my problems than anybody that I could find. I would try to talk to everybody, but these efforts would fail. So
this is what writers do. They create characters based. Why do they put a disclaimer? There might be some resemblance to some friend, but it's fiction.
Yes, but I couldn't.
This woman is a writer. She just doesn't want to face the facts.
Oh, come on. I would not have gotten comfort from these if I didn't think there was a basis of reality in them. That I wasn't really receiving communication from spirits who saw my plight, who looked down and saw that I didn't have anybody to talk to, that I was in this desperate state of mind, and I absolutely needed to have somebody to talk to if I was going to survive. So I had to believe that there was a basis of reality in these communications.
That's a basis of reality.
How this proof came to me is that I, during my whole life, would have remarkable dreams of the future. And if you can...
These are called vivid dreams, okay?
That you can...
Not livid, vivid.
Dreams at night that I would have that would tell some future event. So in this way, I was able to validate my activities to a certain degree with proof that I was receiving messages, not only through these dialogues, but through dreams, through the ways that mystics have always gotten these messages, through dreams of the future.
Remember
dreams.
what I told you the other day? The one that they rejected? I said, if you start levitating off the couch here, I will definitely back you 100% on anything you want to do. Now, I'm not a writer, and I've told many people this. The reason I'm not a writer is because I don't want to be a writer. I can be, but as far as listening to people in your head, if they're telling you what to do, that's schizophrenia. If you're communicating with something that you thought created, you know, that's being a writer. That is being a writer.
No, but I don't listen to him because he's an alcoholic. He's an alcoholic. He requires alcohol to function, and alcohol is a notorious suppressant of your brain cells. So that's why, you know, we don't let them alcoholics go out on the road when they're too drunk, because they can't drive right well. And this is what happens to him. So he hasn't been able to develop these gifts, and he couldn't even concentrate hard enough over a period of time to develop them. And I can't depend on an alcoholic for my, for support, because he's not thinking well enough. I try to depend on him, especially in the morning when he's apt to be the most sober. How
do you know? I might have been up all night.
Yeah, well, listen, I can tell when you've been up all night. He's still drunk when I come in, and he's all jazzed, and he's all, which I can't stand, and I want to turn right around and leave when I see him like that, but because I know his thinking is going to be not precise, it's not going to be focused well.
Well, tell me what your sister told you.
So anyway, I'm talking about this because recently my sister died, and she knew I did this all the time. I put them in my blog, my dialogues with spirits sometimes, as much as I think I can get away with, because religious people
get away with?
Yes.
Now that sounds kind of sleazy to me, but
yes, well, that's the way it's regarded. People who do this.
What state are you from?
They're not accepted.
What state are you?
No religion accepts this. But I say the main reason is because religions tend not to recognize individual need. They tend to not want you to go out on your own and do things contrary to, they want everybody acting, in my opinion, acting more or less the same, talking the same.
That's what it's all about.
Conforming. And I'd say that if you conform too much, you'll slow yourself down to the point that nothing is going to come true very remarkable if you try to do it according to. And to me, religions are usually, like in the Mormon church, we have a founder who wanted power just like anybody else wants power, and he wanted to control what people thought.
Of course.
And he wanted to tell people what they could do and what they could think. And then they had to kind of limit other people and say they couldn't have visions. If we had everybody having visions, who would we follow?
I'm real
so
tight.
they just wanted one person to be in charge and to be having the visions, and not a whole bunch of people. So that was my quarrel with
the
church I was born into.
Talk through me.
My needs were very great. I mean, and to me, they were not meeting them. So I had to go out on my own and try to get those needs met. So when that happens, then you're going to do things that the church doesn't exactly approve of.
Okay, so let's get back to
I had to
what happened last night.
Deal with this. Well, nothing unusual. Well, my sister has died, and I had been communicating with her for many years. She knew me very well. She read my blog. We argued a lot. We didn't agree on a lot of things, but and she had gotten married and had become more religious than she'd ever been before, and so there was kind of a falling out there, because I think she perceived that her husband would not, you know, he would be one that wouldn't approve of my methods and my ways of thinking.
Well, don't worry.
So I stayed in Arizona most of the time. I stayed away in order to.
You're tiptoeing around some very basic things here, okay? First of all, the guy she marries, let's not go any farther than that, but he's got at least 7 figures. Money. Lots and lots of money.
Well, of course.
But she don't get doodly squat.
Oh, just, you know, confine your
Oh, I'm
remarks.
sorry. I didn't mean squat. That's a terrible word.
Would you please limit your response? Yes, there's another price to pay for. You're not going to do as well financially if you oppose your church, a powerful church. In Utah, you won't do as well financially because if you go against Mormon beliefs, and to the point that it's noticeable. And I left Utah when people were just sort of avoiding me, and I felt like they were ignoring me, just like I didn't even exist, just because of this.
They ostracized you.
Ostracized,
Anybody
yes.
doesn't know what that word is, look it up in the dictionary.
But I couldn't give up my beliefs. I couldn't give up what I was doing because it was helping me to survive, and I couldn't survive on what the church could offer me. That wasn't enough. It wasn't complicated enough. I felt the church did not deal with alcohol problems in the home, for example, and other problems that I had as a child. The church, I didn't feel was able to be of help, that much help. So I had to do more than that in order to survive. I had to get spirit help. I had to get help from any source I could get. And you know, and naturally they were going to disagree. And, you know, when people don't agree with you, they'll call you crazy. They pointed to the fact that I'd been incarcerated when I was in my 20s, and I'd never been treated, never been diagnosed with anything, and managed to survive. But once you've been incarcerated in a mental institution, that people can always bring that out and point to everything you do as being insane, extreme.
The problem I perceive it to be is you're using the wrong word. They didn't incarcerate you, okay?
Oh, well, they certainly did. They took me
corrected.
totally against my will.
Now here,
I was objecting.
Now,
I didn't fight them once they put me under guard.
I want to tell you some real facts of life. Some friends of mine, well, all right, let's go back. They decided they were doing psychology and psychological work. They were, I think there was 6 of them, and they were guys. We're going to go in to one of our wonderful asylums, right, whatever they call them, and we're going to tell them that I think we're schizophrenic. All I hear is jump, thud, dead. Jump, thud, dead. Well, then, come on in. We're gonna take care of you, honey. And what happens is nobody talks to you. Once you're in the government's payroll, you know, the people's payroll. And as soon as they were in, they said, well, we're just going to be like we were before. I mean, these are intelligent guys. So what happened was they said, you know, are we cured from this? And they said, well, you're schizophrenic remission. You've got they've got that stigma on you for the rest of your life. And see, what they did was they just played with people who are in there.
Well, it can always be resurrected out of your past, even
Well,
though
that's what I was trying to
even though
tell
you've
you.
never been incarcerated again.
Right.
Once
Yeah, schizophrenia
what
in
that
remission.
happened,
That's like seeing an alcoholic's in remission.
and I happened to I think the interview only lasted about 10 minutes when the psychiatrist said he was going to put me in there, and I objected very strongly, and I said no.
Yeah, I know. But you shouldn't have done this.
Oh yeah, right. But his mind was made up, and he couldn't be deterred. And I had a heck of a time getting out of there. One heck of a time, and it was very costly in terms of my health, because I immediately, after a lot of the stress, I came down with a bout of chronic fatigue, and it was just absolutely almost fatal.
That's
right
when they
at the-
first found out what that.
Yeah, well, I told them, I said, don't get, yeah, they were going to give me electric shock, because they give everybody electric shock. There was, and I said, well, don't give me electric shock, there's something wrong with me. I've had it, I started it when I was 10 years old, and I tried to explain to them, I said, you give me electric shock, it could kill me. And of course, they didn't pay attention, because some of the other people didn't want electric shock, and they'd been sentenced, you might say, to it. And so they just drag them in there and give it to them anyway. And they weren't going to make an exception.
Didn't you tell me that one person said, I'm looking forward to my electric
well, yeah, and the intern that was in charge of my case said, well, you better make up your mind, because you're probably going to get it. I said, make up my mind? What? Well, before they could even give it to me, I went into what they called a catatonic seizure, but what it was chronic fatigue. It came on just like, and just nearly killed me right then and there. In fact, I went unconscious to their, just seized up, and they couldn't get me out of it. I couldn't get myself out of it. I stayed in it for 4 hours, and nearly died. Quit breathing. Well, when I quit breathing, I thought, well, this is it. And then I came out of it. But I was weak. Next morning, I nearly died again. I was so weak. Never. And I thought, oh, if I survive this, because it came on so bad. And of course, they could see right away then something was wrong with me, and they just stopped all their efforts to give me electric shock. They could see. They were going to kill me. They knew they were going to kill me.
People do not like raspberries, and especially when I think they're intelligent.
They didn't listen to me, and that's what happened. And to me, your rights are violated. You're thrown in there by a psychiatrist, and they can do anything to you.
Well, the problem
kill you. If they'd killed me, well, people said, oh, well, she died, and we don't know an unknown cause.
Did you see the movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah, oh,
well, I'll guarantee you one thing.
Horror.
I'll guarantee you one thing. There ain't no psychiatrist and no psychologist that knows more than I do, because
well, I'll tell you.
Folks, I just look stupid. I have to act this way.
When I can get a bout of chronic fatigue, and it comes on all at once. It's just like, you can have the symptoms up until you get it, and then when you get it, it's like you're weak. You have no strength whatsoever. Okay. It's gone.
Now
I couldn't even. I've got it in a workplace.
Let's get back on track.
And would have to be halfway carried out of the building and taken home.
Let's get back on track.
Well, get back on track. Well, the track is
your sister has now.
Yes, she's now on the other side, and
her husband died 24 hours later.
Yes, he did, and
I think that's cute.
Well,
you did a double funeral that way. They get half price, two for the price of one.
Yes, well, okay. I'm not going to go too much in. She's barely over there. She's recovering, so I hope in the months to come that she will
We'll keep you up
come
to
in,
date,
just like
folks.
my other sister.
We'll keep you up to date.
My others, yeah, keep you updated. My other sister has
Stick around for the Twilight Zone.
come.
I'm going to be the new
And
Rod
as soon
Serling.
as Margie recovers,
I shouldn't have said that.
I'm sure she will check, you know, she'll be willing to have some dialogues too. Because, why? Why? Because that way she can come back and keep a conversation going on Earth as well as be over there. Who wouldn't want that? That would be better. That would not make it so painful than to just be cut off. See, this is what conversations with the spirits can do. They can help the spirits that have had to leave abruptly. It can help them to adjust so that they just not cut off completely from Earth, but they can still have conversations with people. And I have persisted in having conversations with the spirits because I think that's a natural thing to do, to keep on having conversations with your sisters even if they've gone on. Why not if you can? And if I found a way to do it, I have done it. And so I'm sure that she's going to come and take advantage of it because it'll make her passing so much easier.
I certainly hope so.
He won't believe it.
Hey,
people who don't do it,
I'm the skeptic in the crowd.
They don't know
I don't
how.
get paid enough for the job I have to do.
So that's
Do not get paid enough. That's all there is to it.